Like every day, I feel really like my mom now. Now I'll admit it.
During the People magazine cover shoot for the beautiful issue, the 2020 edition, alongside her mom Goldie Hawn and daughter Ronnie, Kate Hudson finally conceded that she's a dead ringer for Goldie.
Once upon a time, I wouldn't admit it. I was like, I am nothing like my mom. Now I'm like, okay, yes, I was just like my mom.
And that similarity surely caught the eye of casting directors, like in 1998, when Kate was cast in her first movie, Desert Blue. And 2 years later, in Almost Famous, the Cameron Crowe movie that snagged Kate an Oscar nomination. Kate tells The Independent 22 years later, I remember Cameron Crowe saying it wasn't as if Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell showed up to his door with like trench coats on and holding a gun to his head, making him put me in the movie. That's not how any of this works. Yeah, that's right, Kate. I mean, the casting of you wasn't because of Goldie and Kurt, but you got the opportunity to audition to possibly be cast in the role. A lot to do because of Goldie and Kurt. I mean, they're well known around Hollywood and have that almost subconscious connection with a lot of people in Hollywood. This month, New York Magazine did a deep dive into the concept of the Nepo baby, who is the child of an actor in show business who likely benefited from their parents' fame or connection while launching their own career. They point to stars like Dakota Johnson, John David Washington, and Lily Rose Depp. But Kate is totally fine with being called the Nepo baby. She tells The Independent, the nepotism thing, I mean, I don't really care. I look at my kids and we're a storytelling family. It's definitely in our blood. People can call it whatever they want, but it's not going to change it. I actually think there are other industries where it's more common. Maybe modeling. I see it in business way more than I see it in Hollywood. Sometimes I've been in business meetings where I'm like, wait, whose child is this? Like, this person knows nothing. I don't care where you come from or what your relationship to the business is. If you work hard and you kill it, it doesn't matter. Ugh, Kate, I don't love that. I mean, of course, Kate had to make sure she didn't get kicked out the door afterwards, but Goldie and Kurt helped get her to that door and through that door in much more of a direct way than others that didn't know the ins and outs of the Hollywood system. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis, the daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, made the valid point that there's not a day in her professional life that goes by without her being reminded that she's the daughter of movie stars. The current conversation about Nepo babies is just designed to try to diminish and denigrate and hurt. O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube's son, shared this clip of Whitney Houston on the Magic Johnson Show in 1998.
You come from a famous family too.
Yeah.
Your mom, Sissy Houston. Did that help your career?
Yes, it did. It, you know, as my cousin and my mother would put it, will help you get in the door, but when you're in there, you're on your own.
Then O'Shea makes the not so valid point that he was cast to play his father, Ice Cube, in Straight Outta Compton because of his own hard work through the 2-year audition process. O'Shea, you don't think he gave you a little bit of a leg up? And the fact that you kind of look like Ice Cube, you sound like Ice Cube, you have the same mannerisms as Ice Cube, and then yeah, Ice Cube's in the room next to you. Of course that's an advantage for you. I mean, if you were auditioning to play Snoop Dogg, you probably wouldn't have had as good a chance as you did playing Ice Cube. It's pretty naive for O'Shea to think that it was just hard work that got him there. Yeah, sure, after being hired, a Nepo baby has to work just as hard as everyone else to prove that they're valuable. But no, getting considered for that job is certainly helped by the fact that their parents are in the same industry and know people. That's the case in any workplace, any industry really. I mean, someone passes along that Goldie and Kurt's daughter has started acting, and then they hear that Cameron Crowe is casting his new movie. No, it's not the reason that they were cast, but it's certainly part of the reason that they were in consideration to be cast. So I'm disappointed that Kate can't just acknowledge that. It doesn't lessen her talent. After she was given the opportunity to follow in her parents' footsteps, Kate absolutely kept pace, and she deserves to be applauded for that. But I have no doubt that, conversations over the years that Goldie and Kurt had with various people in Hollywood would subtly influence someone's decision-making when it comes to casting movies. What do you think of certain Nepo babies taking the New York Magazine essay as an insult of their talent instead of an acknowledgement of their privilege?